the main directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. Abbreviated GU, formerly the Main Intelligence Directorate, and still commonly known by its previous abbreviation GRI, is the Foreign Military Intelligence Agency of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. GRI controls the military intelligence service and maintains its own special forces units. Unlike Russia's other security and intelligence agencies, such as the Foreign Intelligence Service, whose heads report directly to the President of Russia, the director of the GRI is subordinate to the Russian Military Command, reporting to the Minister of Defense and the Chief of the General Staff. The Directorate is reputedly Russia's largest foreign intelligence agency, and is distinguished among its counterparts for its willingness to execute riskier, complicated, high-stakes operations. According to unverified statements by Stanislav Lunev, a defector from the GRI, in 1997 the agency deployed 6 times as many agents in foreign countries as the SVR, and commanded some 25,000 Spetsnaz troops. The first Russian body for military intelligence dates from 1810, in the context of the Napoleonic Wars raging across Europe, when War Minister Michael Andreas Barclay de Tolly proposed to Emperor Alexander I of Russia the formation of the Expedition for Secret Affairs under the War Ministry. 2 years later, it was renamed the Special Bureau. In 1815 the Bureau became the first department under the General Chief of Staff. In 1836 the intelligence functions were transferred to the second department under the General Chief of Staff. After many name changes through the years, in April 1906, the military intelligence was carried out by the 5th Department under the General Chief of Staff of the War Ministry. The GRU's first predecessor in Soviet Russia was established by the secret order signed on 5 November 1918 by Jukhum Zvachetis, the first commander-in-chief of the Red Army of the field headquarters of the Revolutionary Military Council of the Republic. Simon Orlov was its first head. Its early history was marked by a series of reorganizations influenced by the Soviet-Polish War, the consolidation and restabilization of the Soviet Union, and the general reorganization of the Red Army. This included changes to its name, status, and responsibilities. Throughout most of the interwar period, the men and women who worked for Red Army intelligence called it either the 4th Department, the Intelligence Service, the Razvedupr, or the RU. As a result of the reorganization, carried out in part to break up Trotsky's hold on the army, the 4th Department seems to have been placed directly under the control of the State Defense Council as opposed to the near neighbors of the NKVD-KGB. The GRI was created under its current name and form by Joseph Stalin in February 1942, less than a year after the invasion of the Soviet Union by Nazi Germany. From April 1943 the GRI handled human intelligence exclusively outside the USSR in addition to operations against the Axis powers. GRI is credited with having infiltrated the British nuclear weapon program and up to 70 American government and scientific institutions. During the Cold War, the GRI, like many of its Western rivals, maintained residentures, or resident spies, worldwide. These included both legal agents based at Soviet embassies with official diplomatic cover and illegal officers without cover. It also maintained a signals intelligence station in Lodz, Cuba and other Soviet bloc countries. Though less well known than the KGB, with which it shared a fierce rivalry, GRI is known to have been involved in several high-profile episodes. This included opening back-channel negotiations with the US government during the Cuban Missile Crisis and contributing to the Profumo scandal that partly contributed to the fall of a British administration. GRI was distinguished for its closer ties with revolutionary movements and terrorist groups, greater experience with weapons and explosives, and even tougher training for recruits. New recruits were allegedly shown footage of a traitorous officer being fed into a crematorium alive. The existence of the GRI was not publicized during the Soviet era, though it was mentioned in the 1931 memoirs of the first OGPU defector, Zhozh Agabikov. and described in detail in the 1939 autobiography, I Was Stalin's Agent, by Walter Krivitsky, the most senior Red Army intelligence officer ever to defect. Gree became widely known in Russia and outside narrow confines of the Western intelligence community during Perestroika, due partly to the writings of Viktor Suvorov, a Gree officer who defected to Great Britain in 1978 and wrote about his experiences in the Soviet military and intelligence services. According to Suvorov, even the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, the country's de facto leader, needed